Okay, so last session we learned about working with CSS 2D effects, how we can handle CSS 2D. In that we have the options like translate and scale and skew and rotate. One more is matrix. So these are defined, we can say CSS 2D transform, 2D transforms. By using transform, we have to define these options. Translate is changing the position, scale is changing the size, skew is tilting, rotate by specified degrees. Matrix is used to apply multiple effects, but not all. Matrix is used to apply multiple effects, but not all effects. So to apply all effects, we have to use other techniques. We have to use other animations. Through matrix, what you can do is, so here I will define CSS 2D matrix. 2D matrix. Actually, it allows to define multiple transforms. 2D matrix allows to define multiple transforms. More than one transform you can define. Multiple transforms, how to apply? How do we configure the multiple transforms? Actually, multiple transforms means, matrix means syntactically, matrix contains scale x, first value, and skew x and skew y and scale y and translate x and translate y. These are the effects we can give in order. The effects order is this: scale x, skew x, then skew y, then scale y, then translate x and translate y. That is the order of multiple effects. We don't have rotate. Means all options are not available. Matrix allows only few. Then how to apply rotate and scale? For that we have to learn some other effects, other options we have to apply together. So how this transition works? For example, let's see. Suppose we are defining the transform, and here by default the width and height is this. For the image we are having that width and height, and on hover we are using translate. Let's run this. Translate will move the image. Now To apply the matrix effects, multiple effects, we have to define the option here. So transform. We have to add matrix, transform matrix. Now in this matrix, actually, basic values are not defined here. Let's open this. Okay. Currently, no effects are configured there. In the initial stage, image is having the transform. Here I am writing transform and matrix. In the matrix 0, this is for scale x, then 0 and 0 and 0. Scale x, then skew x, qy. Then we have translate x and translate y. All are set to 0 values. Now, when you are hover, I am writing here, suppose 2. And I am giving all 0, 0, 0, 0 options here. That means here we are configuring the values. And generally, when we move the mouse onto it, it should display that. Now, what are the other effects to define here? So depending on the width and height you already configured. So standard height and width, how much we have given? 100 and 100, the height we have given initial. Suppose we are defining that is 2 and this is q, one more value is there. There. So first value is how much? First value is related to scale x. Second value is skew x. Third value is qy. Then scale x, scale y. Then we have translate x and translate y. Now, one more option here when you are defining the effects. We need to configure these effects in an order like this. Write down. So here one option is generally for skew x we use degrees and pixels we define. So here important is the values defined for matrix, the values defined for matrix are configured by using points as unit. Points as unit. So the orientation, the order dependency of effects for matrix is standard. That means you cannot ignore any specific effect. You cannot ignore any specific effect. You have to define 0 as value. Zero as value. So that means here we have to define syntax, transform, matrix, and in this 0, some here as suppose 1, 0 and 0, and 1, 100 and 100, like this we have to define. So units, here one more option. You can define fractions as units. Fractions as units. That means you can define transform, matrix, and for that you can use like 1.5, like this. And 20, so like 0.5. That is the values, that is the options you configure. Some 100 and 100, like this you can add. Now the point is here, skew, scale uses 1.5 and skew uses 20. This indicates degree, and translate indicates translate 100 is pixels. Translate. I just given a rough values. Don't take it very seriously. Just rough values I given. So we haven't implemented them. So one value is missing. Just rough values I given. This also how much? 1.5. Just rough values I given, right? So fractions are configured in this way. That means the values are defined in this way. Suppose I am removing this because by default the values will be normal. And when you are configuring the transformations, that means for matrix, suppose I am giving 1.5. That means actual size increase. This related to what? Scale X. Then I defined some 20 degrees skew. Then 0 Y and 1.5 0 and 0, like this. That means we are configuring the width and height and defining the effects. Here some more combinations we need to understand. You can see it will be like this. It will be displaying like this. That means it is using two options. Size is increased, skew is also increased. Suppose I will just keep this as 0. That means skew is set to 0. That means only size will come. So only size is coming. That means if you want, we can tilt it. Suppose this is some 15. That means 15 is nothing but 15 degrees. 15 degrees, it will be very short. We can define both options. It depends how much you want to configure. You can give skew X. These two values belongs to skew. We have to configure these two related to skew. So we need to keep that and display. So skew X and skew Y. I haven't adjusted it into container. I will put them in a container. Then means we need to keep center. We need to keep in a container. We need to keep overflow hidden. In that case, what happens? It will not go outside the screen. Outside the screen. Generally, how people do is, so we have this in a container, right? Suppose we have a class container. Now for container, generally display flags justify contents, align item center, height is this. Suppose I given as overflow as hidden. Overflow as hidden. That means it will display like this. Size you can adjust and you can configure that. We can use the size accordingly and we can configure that. Now actually previous what we learned, without matrix only one effect will be working. Either width is working or rotate is working or translate is working. Now we can have a combination of those. That is the values combination is defined in this way, right? So just example what we done here. Example. These examples I will post, but just these two things you have to understand. So for image, we given the effects in this way. Initial width is 100 pixels, 100 pixels. Then transition is 2 seconds. And when image hover, then we need to define the transform. So transform we are applying through matrix. So size and skew and translate. These are the options. First 1.5. The first value is width, right? Then 15 is skew X. And another next 15 value is skew Y. Now 1.5, this is height. 0 is translate X. 0 is translate Y. That's the combination. So why rotate is not defined? Because by using tilt itself, you can rotate that by specified degrees. You can configure that by using the skew options only. Skew will rotate by specified degree. So these are basic things how we can define matrix. If you want multiple effects, then you have to apply through matrix. This is 2D. Next important, we have all same. One more extra dimension will come. So we call them as CSS 3D transforms. All are similar. All are similar. We will get CSS 3D transforms. CSS 3D transforms. (3D) transforms is nothing but, so 3-dimensional effects. 3-dimensional effects along X, Y, and Z axis. One extra will be there, X, Y, Z. So all attributes are similar to 2D. So, but contains a new dimension Z that contains a new dimension Z. So that is option. All effects are same. So that means we have translate 3D. So we have translate 3D. Translate 3D. We have scale 3D. We have skew 3D. So we have rotate 3D. Rotate 3D. And we have matrix 3D. Matrix 3D. These are the 3D options. How we can configure the 3D transforms. So one example I will give you, others I will give in the notes, you can try because all are same. Just like 2D only, one extra dimension comes that you can try. So, but as I already told you, to understand such effects, environment need to be correctly set. Otherwise, you cannot observe the difference. That means you simply apply the effect without having proper suitable environment for this. Then you cannot observe the difference. That means to identify the three-dimensional difference, your content also should be related. If content is not suitable for 3D and you are trying 3D, you will feel like it's not working, right? Majority of times that generally comes while learning the technology. In the beginning level, when you are learning, if you design some content which is not suitable for 3D and you are applying 3D, then it will look like ordinary 2D only. It will look like ordinary 2D. For that, environment must be correctly set. For example, see, suppose, so we are having an image, we are configuring an image and displaying the image here. So transform. Here for transform, we have to define some effect. Actually, for transform effect, we can use scale 3D now. We can use scale 3D. So scale 3D we can use. In that, three values are required: x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So for example, x-axis is suppose 1, some 2, y-axis also 2, z-axis also suppose 3. I am giving like this. Now you see here that generally scale means values are given in this way. And we are going to define that here and here apply. It looks normal. It looks normal. That means it looks same like 2D. So generally people think like there is no difference here. So, but actually the third dimension is working there. But to observe that, you need to keep environment suitable for it. Environment suitable for it. For example, suppose, so in this container, I kept another div. And here I given a class as some back. That is the class I defined. So that is back. So that means inside that we kept it. Now see what we are doing here is we are writing the class as back. And for the back class, what we are doing is in that back class, we are applying background image. Background image. URL, we are using the same background image. We are using the same background image. That means in assets, shirt.jpg. And currently image size is 100 pixels. So background size also we will give as 100 pixel and 100 pixel. Background size also same. And here we give as some opacity. Opacity is transparency. Suppose 0.5 or 6 opacity, transparency we given. So generally we have a background image there. Background image is displayed here. Now opacity we defined in this way. And one mouse over, what we are doing here is just general. Opacity is 6 and we will put image. For image we will put box shadow. Box shadow as 2 pixel. So 2 pixel. So 3 pixel, some gray. That is the box shadow. And we will give border. Border as 2 pixel solid black. That is the border. Image is also having border. So border as 1 pixel dotted some yellow, something like this. Now you can see the content here, it displays like this. And when I am moving, it comes like this. So that means in the background, some image is present. What I will do is, for background, I will give here background size. I will give as some 200. That is the background size is defined. And height and width also we will give. So width is equal to 200 pixels and the height also 200 pixels. That means background will be like this now. We are configuring the background and on that one image is present. So we have a background and on that image is present. When I move the mouse onto it, then it comes in this way. That means it comes in this way. This is how it is displaying. That's how it is displaying. That means now the image looks like it is coming out. It is coming out of that screen, Z-axis you can observe. If I don't use that, that means suppose I given here box shadow. Box shadow for image, we will put black. And this also 2. And that's fine. Now you can see here. And opacity I will remove for the image. You see now, it looks like this. Now when I move the mouse onto it, you see the image looks like come out of that area. A 3-dimension effect, 3D effect will be there. Now you can drop the shadow more for that image. That means you can see. So the box shadow as 12 pixel and 2 blur. Now it will be in this way. That means the image looks like coming out of the page at a 3D level. But actually it is same. In 2D also it looks the same. But if you put some background, if you put some shadow, then Z-axis can be easily observed. In this, Z-axis is easily observed only when it is having a shadow. We are increasing the size, suppose. That means how we can define the 3D. So here we have to use scale 3D. So this is Z-axis. Z-axis I will give as 5. Z-axis I defined as 5. Then it will be more like this. So we are increasing the size. Suppose 3. That means it is nothing but increasing the height and width. That means the image looks like it comes out of that area and it will display like this. So to understand such kind of effects, So to understand and display such kind of effects, for 3D actually, you should have a shadow. For 3D, you should have a background. Then the Z dimension you can see. Otherwise, it is same like 2D. No more change. The same thing you have to use for other options also. Same you have to use for other. That means it can be rotate 3D. It can be translate 3D. You have to configure in that way. So the third dimension can be visible only when you are having backgrounds and shadow. So we have to keep one small note here. Note is the third dimension is possible. The third dimension is possible to view only when border, shadow, and background are defined. Border, shadow, and background are defined. Border, shadow, and background are defined. If you don't define, 3D will work, but you will not feel like 3D. I told you that in future, we will design some examples. In those examples, we will use this 2D effect, 3D effects, and create some screens, advertisements, and all like we will design. So, example, syntactically, everything is same. Suppose scale 3D. In that, you have to define X position. So, Y position and Z position. Same for all other options. Matrix also same. Matrix will be scale 3D, skew 3D, skew X 3D, skew Y 3D. Then same scale Y. So these are the effects configured for 3D. Example, a small example is like this. So these three we have to apply. In the style, we have to add these effects. Image, width is 100 pixel, height is 100 pixel. Transition, box shadow, and border. So image hover, we are using transform scale 3D. Other options are same, scale 3D, rotate 3D, you can define. So we have a div. In that class is back. In that we have an image. For back, we are giving a background image. We are defining a background size, border, width and height. In that image hover what effects to display. In the notes, different example for scale, rotate, I will upload, you see them. Because same like 2D only one rotate will change, translate will change, and skew will change. You can try that. So these are 2D and 3D transforms. 2D and 3D transforms, how we can define. Next important, CSS transition. CSS transition. Already transition we are applying. We are giving transition 2 seconds time. Actually, so many options are there. Transition, so many options are there. So transition defines animation, duration, animation delay, and timing function. Transition define animation, duration, delay, and timing function. So for that we have the transition attributes. The transition attributes we have transition. This is shorthand. Transition delay, transition duration, and transition timing function. Shorthand we are using every day. All these days we were using transition shorthand. We have transition delay, transition duration, transition timing function. We were using transition duration actually. Transition duration directly we were applying. So let's see one simple point. What is it? So we will see. Actually, we are configuring transition means, see, suppose already we are applying here. We are applying transition 2 seconds. That is shorthand. But transition has lot of things. Let's see. I will keep it simple like this. Let's create a simple div. And I will put a class as box. And I defined here for div, we have a border as 2 pixel, solid, some black. And for that background color as red. Okay. Height I defined as some 100 pixel. Okay, just we are having a div. We are just defining a div. This is the original size. So height I configured as some 60 or 50. So it will be in this way. Now what happens here is we are defining initial here for dot box. Box is the div. For this we given width width as 100 pixel. Okay, that is 100 pixel width. Now dot box hover, that means when mouse is over width, I change it to some 1000 pixel. That means when mouse is over, it is changed to 1000 pixel. I am changing to some 1200 pixel because maximum is 12. I am changing to 1200 pixel. That is, it is changing. So how much time it is taking to change? Within a fraction of 1 millisecond, it is changing. But I want it to transform within 2 seconds or 3 seconds or 4 seconds. Then already we know. But actually how to write? We have to define transition, duration, transition duration, how many seconds it should take? Suppose it should take 5 seconds to complete. Okay, how it should come back? I am giving transition duration as 2 seconds to come back. That means now you can see that transition duration indicates how much time to take to complete the animation. You see now, so it is taking 5 seconds to complete it. And when I move the mouse outside, it will take 2 seconds to come back. So it is taking 5 seconds to reach that. And it is taking 2 seconds to come back. That is duration. Transition duration means in how many seconds it should finish. But see, when I move the mouse onto it, it is starting immediately. Due to this, one problem will come. In a page, lot of content will be there. Now what happened? You have to move your mouse pointer. You cannot lift the mouse pointer, right? You have to move your mouse pointers. For example, generally what happens is, suppose you have a page. In this page, we have one shape. So in this page, we have another shape. So in this page, we have another shape. Now what happens is, suppose we have a mouse pointer. This is mouse pointer. Now we are writing mouse pointer on hover. Generally, suppose mouse pointer is here. That means mouse pointer is over this star. Now I need to move to the polygon above. So top. Then mouse pointer is moving like this. So actually I can go like this without touching this, right? But if it is a bar and it is occupying from left to right, everything it is occupying, then when I move anywhere, then that will be touched. That means now what happens is, in your mouse pointer way, some other elements are touched accidentally. There is no possibility that you can lift your mouse pointer and keep that. You have to go by touching others only. Due to that, what happens is, the animation happens immediately. It should not happen immediately. I move the mouse onto it. Then if I wait for 2 seconds, then after 2 seconds, it should start. That means animation should not start immediate. Animation should start after few seconds. Currently, animation is starting immediate. When I move, immediately it is starting. When I come out, immediately it is ending. It should not immediately do. It should wait for a few seconds. That is what we say delay. Delay means the delay time. The delay time for starting animation. The delay time for starting animation. That means how much time it should take before starting the animation. before starting the animation. Generally, animation starts immediate. If I don't want to start immediate, then delay time. Duration is nothing but the total duration of animation. The total duration of animation, how many seconds, that you define by using duration. And delay is defining how much time to take to start the animation. That means don't start immediate. For example, see now, I am using here on hover transition, I given delay. Transition delay, I given 2 seconds. Okay. Transition delay is not there for normal. Transition delay is there only for hover. Then see what happens now. I move the mouse onto that bar and it is not starting. After 2 seconds, it will start. I hope you observed that. I remove that, then immediate. Why? Because delay is not there for normal state. Delay is there for only hover. When I move the mouse onto it, it will not start immediately. When I move mouse onto it, it will wait for 2 seconds. After that, it starts. That is what we call as delay. That means animation should not start immediate. If it should wait that is he sure he wants to continue, then he will stay on it, then it will start. So that is what we call as delay. Delay. You can give for hover and normal immediate we can do. Generally, suppose I given above transition delay as 5 seconds. That means now see here, when I move the mouse onto it, it will wait 2 seconds. After that, it will start. I remove the mouse pointer from there. Then it will not come back immediate. It will wait for 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, now it will come back. That means it is not immediate. After I moved the mouse pointer, it is waiting for 5 seconds, then it will start. Because some animations we don't want immediate. We want to wait for some time. That's what we have to define by using transition duration. There is one more option. Timing function I will tell you. Another option is there. Transition property. It defines the property. It defines the property to effect. It defines the property to effect. Which property to effect? You have to specify through transition property. Normally what happens by default, animation will affect. So will affect for all properties. By default, animation will affect for all properties. So I will show you here. What does that means? The property to effect means, see, box initially background color. I will not give here. The background color for the box is red. And hover, the background color is yellow. Like this. That means now initial color is red and another color is yellow. On hover, yellow. Now will it change immediately to yellow? No, it will not change immediately to yellow. It will take 2 seconds to change from red to yellow. That means how much time you have given there. Suppose I will give short time. I will give transition delay. I remove it. delay I will remove it, duration I given as 5 seconds. Now see now, when I move the mouse onto it, so width and color both should change. Width and color both should change, but see red to yellow transform. That means slowly red change it to yellow. And similarly, when I remove it, yellow will not change to red immediately. When I move it, slowly it will transform to red. That means that this transition timing, the timing I given 5 seconds is working for width and is working for background. That means it is applying for all of them. But see what I will do is, I will give here on hover transition property I will give as width. Transition property I given as width. Width is the transition property. Now you see here. So now you see what you observed here. When I move the mouse onto it, now only width is working. Only width is working, but background color is immediately changed. You see background color is immediately changed to yellow. Then it is adjusting the width. Previously what happened? Previously what happened if I don't give transition property? That means this timing will work for width and it will work for color. But now you said width, it will work only for width. It will not work for color. Suppose if I given transition property all, by default transition property is all. Transition property is all. Now it will change to red to yellow. So it will change red to yellow. If I want only to affect width, then it will affect only width. Then yellow immediately it changes. That means timing will not be for background color. Timing will be only for width. That you can adjust there also. Above also you can configure. So transition property means for which property that effect should work. That effect should work for width. Then you define width. You can give multiple properties. That means you can write width, comma, height like that. You can define multiple options. You can configure multiple options. So syntactically, we define in this way. So syntactically, we configure in this way. So we define in this way. I will add one more option here. Transition duration and transition delay. Delay 5 seconds. And transition delay. Transition delay. So this is 2 seconds. So you have a transition duration, transition delay, and a transition property. Transition property. We will change here background color also. Transition related options, we have 3. That is the transition. Transition, how you can configure. Right. There is one more option here. Transition timing functions will be there. Transition timing functions. Transition timing functions are nothing but ready-made. they are ready-made options. Transition timing functions are ready-made. Actually, ready-made means currently what happening is it is taking 5 seconds to start and it is taking 5 seconds to end if I give duration as 5. But how I want effect is it should slowly start and towards the end it increase speed. That means it should start slowly and towards the end speed should increase, or it should start fast, towards the end speed should decrease. So for that, how you write effects? Ready-made effects will be there. Ready-made transition effects will be there. We can apply them. So those effects have ready-made animation styles. You can use them. Generally, so for example, if you know PowerPoint, if you know Adobe Premiere, like video editing softwares, transitions will be there. Ready-made transitions will be there. For example, I hope you people know PowerPoint very well. Suppose in PowerPoint, so we have some text. We are defining some text. We want to give some effect for this. So for example, some text is there and we want to apply some effect and configure. So let's add some text. Suppose I said welcome. I want to apply some effects for this. Then you know that generally, so transitions, there is a menu. There is a transitions menu. That is very common. In animations, transitions are very common. Now in the transitions, you see ready-made several options are there. Suppose I selected some shape, then it will be applied for it. That is ready-made. Suppose I said random bars, it will be like this. These are transition timing functions. These are transition timing functions. That means we don't need to create such things. Ready-made are there, we need to apply. In CSS also same. Currently what we are giving left to right width increase. And we are controlling the speed. Ready-made effects will be there. Ready-made effects, like how we can define is, so we can configure that like this. What we can do is, so transition delay, I will not use any property. It will apply for all. We have transition timing function. And see, in transition timing function, so many effects are there. These are ready-made effects. So many effects are there. Like ease in, ease out, ease in, out. Just for example, see, until or unless somebody explains you, you can't observe that properly. In the beginning level, actually. For example, see, I given as ease in, ease in. That is a ready-made effect. Now see what happens here. I move the mouse onto it. What you observed? Animation started slowly. And towards the end, its speed increased. The same speed is not maintained. That means when I move the mouse onto it, observe carefully, the animation slowly starts. Towards the end, speed increases. That means towards the end, it is not same speed how it started. The speed increased. That is called ease in. Ease out. That means it will start fast. Then it will end slow. These are very minor things which you can't observe until or unless somebody tells you or puts more timing. If more timing is not set, then you will not feel like it is working. For example, best I will give here. See, timing function, I will give you steps. Steps, I will give you some 15 steps. That means now see what happens. When I move the mouse onto it, in 15 steps, it will complete. That is steps. So, and when I move out, it will be normal. But when it is going, I can give steps as 5. That means in 5 steps, it should complete that animation. In 5 steps, it will complete that animation. In 5 steps, it will complete the animation. Currently, I just put a box. You can put a picture. You can put some text. Inside it, you can have anything. Right? I just kept some text box there. Inside the container, your wish. You can keep any content inside it. That means how it is going to display the content. That is transition timing functions. Timing functions are nothing but ready-made. That means here the timing function. These are predefined animation effects. Predefined animation effects. That means ready-made animation effects. You can apply those ready-made animation effects. Predefined animation effects. Ready-made animation effects. So that is basic thing. Now another important is these are all transition related options. Syntactically, I will give here. Syntactically, we define transition, timing, function. So we can keep steps, some 2 or 3 like this. Transition, timing, function. You can use like is in like this. These are predefined effects. So many predefined effects are there. You can configure them. So timing functions, how to apply, right? These are timing. In CSS, these are the transition options, but still not satisfied. Why? Because starting to ending, we are defining effects. But generally what should happen is, suppose when I move the mouse, now it is starting. When it reach the middle, then it should rotate. And at the end, it should be normal. That can't happen. So that means it should start with 0 degree. In the middle, it should turn to 90 degrees. And again, in the end, it should come to 0 degree. It cannot happen. For that, what you have to do is we have to design every frame individually. Every frame individually we have to design. So that is very major in animations. And we call them as CSS keyframes. CSS keyframes are nothing but it allows to design animation for every frame. It allows to design animation for every frame. Design animation for every frame. We generally call as frame by frame animation. Actually, frame by frame animations are difficult things, very complicated things. That is the reason animations are very complex. Animations are complex. We need to work so much hard, then finally one effect comes. So that is the reason so much animations is not easy work. For example, you people may think Java developer, .NET developer, PHP developer. In software companies, they have good salaries and remuneration. But out of all these people, multimedia people, they have huge packages, very huge packages. But choosing multimedia as a career is very risky, because out of the passion, you have to choose it as a career. So, because you learn for 10 years, then finally you can start earning after 10-15 years. So till that, you cannot earn what you are looking for. That's the reason people make less on that. Multimedia are very huge things, because animations, graphics are very complicated, very complicated. I hope you people know. For example, just one basic point I will tell you. So generally, animations, suppose you know Titanic movie, James Cameron, right? After Titanic movie, he took 12 years to make a movie called Avatar. Avatar movie took 12 years. 12 years. 12 years. The point is, why so much time? Because animation, graphics, they consume a lot of time. They are not easy. Means according to the graphics statistics, 1 minute special effect that you watch on screen, to design 1 minute, it will take minimum 4 months of time. On that, minimum 400 people should work daily 20 hours. Then 1 minute graphics will come, special effect will come. So much complicated. At Hollywood level, to create such 1 minute graphics, they will take 10 crores, 20 crores, like, to create 1 minute effect. That is the reason, after Avatar, his movie, 8 years he took after Avatar to create, to get a movie called Gravity. His next movie was Gravity after Avatar. And it took 8 years. In that movie, only 2 people will be there. And its cost is more than our Mars mission. Martian and this Gravity. More than our Mars mission, India's Mars mission. Means 500, 700 crores in that movie. Only 2 people will be there in the movie. So after that, now he is taking, after Gravity, now it is almost 7-8 years now. He is still working on Avatar 2. He is still working on Avatar 2. Now the point here is, graphics, special effects are not easy. That means you are just watching simple things. Online, on internet, video games will be there, animations will be there. They are all done by CSS people only. But it is not like simply sit 1 hour and design. They take months of time to design such animations. Months of time. Because every frame they have to design. It's very complex. I will show you some CSS works done by professionals. They look like special graphics, but they're done with CSS only. Now you come like, I learned CS, now can I design it? You learn CSS, but you can design it. But you have to work so much hard. At least 1 month you sit, then you can create such 1-2 minutes graphics with your CSS. Why? Because every frame they have to design. For example, I will tell you why it will take so much. That is what keyframes are. For example, suppose the basic thing is, I hope you people know, right? Suppose when you are taking video, when you are taking a video moving from one location to another location, I hope the settings for that, I hope 30 FPS. You know 60 FPS. I hope you people heard about that. Because you purchase mobiles, na? You purchase mobiles and you look for high definition camera. Now you will say that my mobile is having 50 pixel camera. What you will do with it? You don't know anything. You just open camera, take photo. What you will adjust? Maximum beautification. Right? That's it. That means for opening camera, adjusting beautification, taking selfie, you are taking 30,000 rupees, 50 pixel camera photo mobile. DSLR will come. Professional photographers use the DSLR. That means you don't know anything about photography and you are purchasing a mobile which is having that kind of facilities. It is waste for you. You are not using anything out of that. That means that pixel is waste for you. That pixel is waste for you. That means, for example, if I asked you like a fan is rotating, take your mobiles and take the photo. In that photo, that fan wings should stop and show me. Can you take? That means those 3 wings should display. Stop and display. Can you take? Every mobile have that facility. Even 3,000 rupees mobile also can take that photo. You don't know. That means you don't know how to set the frames. You don't know how to capture various types. Then it's waste. Those features are waste for you. Until or unless you are a professional photographer. Right? The point is you are using the pixels. So I hope you know when you are taking videos also. 4K, people say 4K videos, na? 4K videos have 60 frames per second. 60 FPS, high definition, like, so movie like, so photography will come. The point is 60 frames per second means, see, every frame is like this. Every frame is like this. Every frame is designed in this. Every frame is like, that means 60 frames will be there. 60 frames will be there. So we have 60 frames. Roughly, suppose see, in that one star is here. This is on frame 1, star is kept here. Now in the second frame, so in the second frame, that is kept here. In the third frame, it is kept here. In the fourth frame, it is kept here. And in the fifth frame, it is kept here. In the sixth frame, it is kept here like this. In every frame, its position is changing. In every frame, its position is changing. Now, all these frames will run fast, one after another. 1 second, 60 frames will run. In 1 second, if 60 frames will run, then it looks like moving an object. It looks like moving an object, but all are still photos only. All are still photos only. It moves like it is moving an object. Now in CSS, we can design every frame. That is what keyframe is. That means you can tell that after 30 frames, how object should be, where it should be. After 40 frames, how object should be, where it should be. You can tell that. Actually, we cannot tell that now. Now what we are doing, left to right, one animation we are giving. But we can design for every frame. That means we will say that up to 20 frames. That means 20 frames, up to 20 frames, object should come left to right. After that, from 21 to suppose 40 frames, it should go from bottom to top. And after 41 to 60 frames, it should come from top to bottom. Like that you can design. These are called as keyframes. When you are taking a video, when you are taking any photo, in video, frames will be there. In your mobile cameras, there will be one option called professional. There will be one option called professional. That means you have ready-made night mode, You have some 30 portrait, landscape, some modes will be there. In that, there will be a mode called professional. In that professional mode, you can set how many frames you want. Generally, you will have options like ISO. You will have like frames per second, frames per second. So many professional options will be there. If you know the meaning of ISO, frames per second, with mobile also, you can capture great pictures with your high definition pixel cameras you are having in mobile. So you can capture great images. So if you know that professional, means professional photographers will not take ready-made modes. They will take this professional mode and sets the ISO and they set the frames per second and take photos and videos. That will give the true colors, that will give the correct lightings, effects and all. Now in CSS, we can design such frames. We call them as keyframes. Let's see one point we will see. Detailedly we will see later. First we will see one point, how it works. See, the concept is very simple. Suppose we have an image source. It is so from assets. In that shirt.jpg, so width is 100 and height also 100. This is image. Now what we are doing here, we have to write keyframes. How we are configuring the keyframe? See, to configure the keyframe, I'm just using here @keyframes. @keyframes and space. What name you want to give for your animation? Any name for your animation. Because in style, you can design several keyframes. One keyframe for paragraph, another keyframes for image, another keyframe for some box. You can design a lot of keyframes. Every keyframe will have a reference name. You can give any name. Suppose I given the name as slide in something. I can give any name that I just given as slide in. Okay. And what it should be. That means it will have in the keyframes, we have to define several effects. That means from indicates from the beginning point, starting point. From means starting point. Starting point I will give as margin right as 100%. Margin right 100%. So or margin left 100%. Margin left 100% means from left 100% means it will be completely at right side. It will be right side. Okay. Then 2, what should happen? 2 means beginning. Beginning, what should happen? Margin left. Margin left. Margin left. It should be some 0%. That means initially it start with margin 100% and it should be 0%. Okay, I given only this. Now this slide in effect should be used by our image. That means image. For image, we need to apply. So animation name, animation name. Animation name, which one? Slide in. It should use the animation called slide in. Then animation duration. Animation duration is how much? Some 4 seconds like this. Now actually what happens now? So here you see it looks like this. It looks like this. Okay, it is coming from right to left. Now what we are doing is, so here we are giving transition, transform, rotate. Rotate I given as 0 degree. And 2 I will give as transform, rotate as suppose some 360 degree. And you can see here the object will be like this. That means it is coming from right to left and it is rotating and coming. It is rotating and displaying. That means now you have 2 options working for it. But when it reaches 50%, its size should increase. That means now what I will do is here I will write 50%. That means when it reaches 50%, so the image, so width should be suppose 300 pixel and height should be 300 pixel. That's height and width I am giving. Now it will be like this. That means when it reaches middle, it will be 300 and again it comes back to normal. Now what we will do is, so we will keep body. So in the body overflow, so overflow we will keep as hidden. So that scroll bar will not come. Now it looks like this. So this is transition. It is applying the transition effect in this way. I can put lot of things now. That means you can have this animation direction. We have animation direction. Animation direction I give an alternate. Then you can see that animation direction will be alternate. So that means alternate will come. I have to give loop also. That means animation, we have other options. So on animation iteration count I will give as 3. So that means you see the iteration count will be 3. That means it will be now reverse mode and it will come 3 times. This is how we can configure. That means you can keep as animation iteration count as infinite. Iteration count infinite. That means now it will keep on moving it and it is having the continuous effect until you open. It will be continuously having that effect and it is continuously displaying. That means we can, remember I designed only 3 from 2 and 50. You can give at 10% how it should be, 2% how it should be, 4% at every stage how it should be. Rotate, size, position, everything you can change. So then we can create our own animation effects. These are called as keyframes. Every frame we can design for animation from 0 to 100. That leads to complex animations. Very complicated animation effects are designed by using these keyframes. We will detailedly discuss about this, how to create keyframes, apply the keyframes and all. No need to worry. Tomorrow we will see it. Tomorrow we will discuss detailedly about keyframes, then you can practice. Currently you practice only 2D and 3D. And keyframes I will tell you tomorrow, then you can do it. Then we will design, one more option is there, responsive designs. With that, we will finish our CSS. Then we will go into Bootstrap now, working with Bootstrap and understanding. Tomorrow we will continue, right?